The Iceman Ducketh is a pretty good Warner Brothers cartoon. This was released in 1964. It's directed by Phil Monroe, Chuck Jones, and Maurice Noble, and it was written by John W. Dunn. And of course, we have Mel Blanc voicing Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny and various other characters. And Daffy Duck learns that he can get some pretty decent money for animal furs, even though it's at the end of the season. He doesn't pay any attention to this, and he decides to go out and try and capture an animal. And Bugs Bunny gets wind of this, and of course Daffy Duck thinks, well, maybe he can get some rabbit fur. And as he tries to get Bugs, Bugs does everything he can to evade Daffy's capture, but also have some fun with Daffy and really torment him and wind him up. And what follows is the usual setup of Bugs constantly getting one over on Daffy, and Daffy ending up in some very amusing situations. I think I like this in particular for two reasons. One, I really liked the backdrops. We had a kind of very snowy white scene with some trees and other things to make it a little bit more interesting. There was certainly a decent amount for them to interact with, which, I hadn't necessarily expected, because if everything was covered in snow, I thought, okay, how creative can this really be? But actually, there were a lot of really pretty great things. The thing Bugs said about seeing it on a toothpaste commercial rather amused me. I don't know if that's true or not, but I imagine it kind of could have been. If anybody can confirm that, that would be pretty interesting. But I really liked it. It doesn't, if I kind of think back, okay, there's some snow and Daffy and Bugs get up to the usual tricks. It doesn't sound that interesting, but I think the pacing was really good. There were some really great one-liners, both from Daffy and Bugs. Not to each other, but usually to the camera, or in Daffy's case, to a version of himself, which I won't spoil by explaining what happens, but I enjoyed it a lot. It's never going to be one of my all-time favourites, but I thought it was a good concept with a pretty decent execution, quite entertaining here and there, and one that I'd be happy to watch again.